Kia ora tata. No, I'm good, thank you. Ko te mata te maunga, ko toki te awa, no hiratonga ahau, ko Reid toku whānau, ko Brodie taku ingoa. Kia ora everyone, thank you very much for the invite. What a pleasure to come along and talk about such a wonderful subject, so I really appreciate the invite. As you've just heard, I work for Tourism New Zealand, so selling the most beautiful place in the world to the world. Not a super hard job, given how wonderful New Zealand and New Zealanders are. And it's been really interesting actually thinking about kindness in the realms of tourism and what that means, because it's really, really closely connected. I guess I want to start first by saying that I totally agree with everything that Peter just said around what kindness represents. When I was thinking about it, I thought about selflessness as well. Doing something, not ever expecting anything in return is kind of where I went with it. And what I love about kindness is that it levels everything: age, race, gender, class. When you're kind to someone, all of those things go away, and it just makes us human. And it's lovely to think that being kind can just put us all on a look someone in the eye and be kind, and we're all one. We're all human, and that's what I love about kindness. And I love the fact that no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, it's always possible to be kind. So one of the questions the team put to me is, tell us a time when you were kind. And I was like, oh God, this is a weird question in kind of two ways, because I was like, I couldn't think of lots of examples of being kind. And then I was like, okay, well that sort of goes back to when you're kind, you just do things every day, and hopefully you're never sort of expecting anything in return. And I was talking to my husband last night, and he said, oh, what about Joey? And so this is Joey on the left here. She's my little dog, and this is my dad here on the right. And a couple of months ago, Joey went for a visit to my dad's house, and my dad's retired and he's by himself down in Hawke's Bay, and he just loved having her so much. She brought so much joy to his life that when she was due to come back to Auckland, to Mum, me, I just heard the sadness in his voice and the potential loss, I guess, that was going to come from her coming back. And so now Joey lives in Hawke's Bay with my dad, and she has the best life ever. She sleeps in his bed. They go for 2 walks a day. They go everywhere, and every time I call him, he's like, me and Joey went to the supermarket. Me and Joey went for a car ride over to Napier. So I was like, okay, everything's okay with the world. I just have a little cry every now and again when I see a little bowl sitting there with no food in it. So that was something that I thought of, and I wanted to share with you guys. What kind of I guess is interesting, and I was saying when you bring it into the realms of tourism, is we have about 3.8 million tourists come here every year. And when you talk to them and when you ask them what New Zealand is like, they say, I came here for the landscapes and the beauty, and all I can leave and all I can talk about to my friends is how kind the people were. So they came expecting one thing and they leave talking about a whole different thing. And for them, when you talk to them, what that boils down to is sort of 4 things. The openness of Kiwis to bring them into our culture and make them feel a part of the country. The generosity, and not generosity from a monetary perspective, but generosity of spirit. going out of our way to do something, expecting nothing in return. The genuine nature of Kiwis, and I think that's just kind of seems to be when you talk to visitors in the DNA of everyone they meet. And this sort of passion, this passion of every single Kiwi. It's like me as marketing director of Tourism New Zealand, I've got 5 million, advocates, all telling every single visitor like the best spot to visit and the best things to do, and how amazing New Zealand is, which is so amazing. But on top of that, for me, on top of all of those things, sits a layer of kindness, I think. Because all of those people are doing all of those things. Every single Kiwi is doing all of those things in a selfless way, not expecting anything in return, and that continued to be the theme that came through. These are just some of the kind of little bits of snippets of feedback that people talked about. This one here, this person stopped to see if we were okay. He came to the rescue with sustenance and beers. He cared. He gave a damn about others, and he wanted to help. Classic Kiwi barbecue. It was warm, it was simple, it was Kiwis warmly welcoming visitors into their homes without the fancy trimmings. And the memorable part of the trip wasn't just the landscape, but Nick's passion, his complete love for his home, the landscape, his family, and the way it was completely infectious. And all of this comes with so much kindness. I just wanted to play this video for you because this is it brought to life in real life.
I never thought it would happen so quickly.
We knew our Kiwi friends would help us out, but we didn't know they would make it a trip we will never forget.
Found out that the only thing more beautiful than New Zealand scenery
is the kindness of its people.
So that was a couple that came to New Zealand and made their own piece of content off the back of visiting. And their whole trip was informed by Kiwis being kind and asking them to come and stay and come and visit and do experience with them. They had not planned a single thing before they came here. And it was just, a gorgeous story talking to Hannah and Zach. And I wanted to kind of bring that into the impact that has on the prosperity of our country. Because when we're kind to visitors, and more visitors come here and they spend more money, that has huge impact for us. We are the number one export earner in New Zealand, above agriculture. And the dollars that go into our communities is so important. 1 in 7 Kiwis are employed by tourism. So by us being kind to visitors has a huge impact on the prosperity of our country. So I kind of figured that kindness is good for our visitors, it's good for our country and our people, and hopefully in our visitors going and talking and being kind to other people by the way they've been treated here, it's actually good for the world and good for the planet. So thank you. That's me.